Okay, Rashna, good evening. So let us start. Okay.
Okay, good evening. Start.
See, I have some broad ideas in my mind. Okay. So let me tell you. See, today we are on 23rd July. Okay.
Okay.
So what I thought was before we complete this month, okay, by 31st July, at least we must aim to finish this uh, uh, till maybe June 2019 or Jan 20. I mean June 2020 or Jan 2020. Okay.
Uh,
So that at least.
sure. I would love to do that because this way we'll able to save our half an hour, na, which we waste normally. So
Yeah.
we can make half an hour productive.
Exactly, exactly. And why I'm telling July is because we can make this a monthly phenomena henceforth. Like for example, now we've done till June 21. Okay, once July is done, we can again schedule any post July any time. Okay, for July discussion.
Sure.
Okay, so that's how we can
Yeah.
carry forward this
Sure.
initiatives. Okay, so let us
It's a good initiative.
yeah.
Hmm.
So let us start.
Okay.
So no, last time we were held up in I think Jan itself. Okay, Jan we had done.
Jan.
Huh. So if you remember this thing, okay, uh, just to recall, section 125. I hope my screen is visible. Okay.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So section 125 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act deals with ineligibility of appointment as arbitrator is a mandatory and non-derogable provision. So this we have read, okay, regarding the arbitration. Okay, just make sure you revise the Arbitration Act again because it's very important for this time, I believe. Okay, so after that, deprivation of property can be uh, only in accordance with the procedure established by law. Okay, so this also broadly we discuss. Apart from law, they cannot take away the property. Okay, so this is one thing which we must broadly be aware. So we must start from here. Okay, so I'll start. Statutes must be interpreted in a just, reasonable, and sensible manner. Okay, so I mean natural. Okay, so they must be interpreted in a just, reasonable, and sensible manner. Just a minute, distraction. Huh. Okay, so statutes must be interpreted in a just, reasonable, and sensible manner. So I mean general, right? Nothing specific. So we can move forward. Yeah, this one, I think this act may be important. The Land Acquisition Act 1894, title of the landowner ceases once state takes possession of land. Okay, so they're making some important observation. Okay, according to this act, Supreme Court is trying to tell that the title of the landowner ceases once the state takes possession of land. Okay, so
Okay.
I believe this act also was in news. No, once the amendment was done, now in 2014. After that, also many times this came up in news because of some judgments, I believe. Okay, so
Hmm.
maybe we should revise the latest judgment and sync our understanding with this. Okay, if the title of the landowner ceases, I mean title ceases once the state takes possession of that land. Okay, if they've taken it under this act, so
Right.
we'll move forward. So the basic philosophy behind granting power to review judgment is universal acceptance of human fallibility. Okay, so I just repeat once again. The basic philosophy behind granting power to review judgments is universal acceptance of human fallibility. So we all know that to err is human. So they're, I think they're considering the same philosophy, and that is why they need to review their own judgments. Okay, so see, this article has come up here. The basic philosophy inherent in granting power to the Supreme Court to review its judgment under Article 137. Okay, so just look up again, revise 137. So 137 is
I guess review petition, and I think 136 was SLP, 137 would be review, and then 138 would be curative. I'm not sure.
137
I
is
think.
what you said is right. Okay, 136 is SLP. We know now this is almost ingrained into our DNA.
Hmm.
137 is review of Supreme Court judgment. Okay, that's what we are speaking.
Right.
138
Okay.
is actually enlargement of jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Okay, this is a different thing.
Okay.
So 137 review of the Supreme Court orders. So just remember this article again. We'll move on.
Hmm.
Next, prenatal sex determination is a grave offense which has potential to damage the very fabric of gender equality and dignity. Yeah, I think this judgment, no, always in news because of that PCPNDT Act, misuse of the act by many doctors,
Right.
and even in
Hmm.
sex ratio issue of paper 1 and ethics also of paper 4. Okay, so there we can obviously use this statement, and this is a nice, well framed one. Prenatal sex determination is a grave offense, okay, which has the potential to
Right.
damage the very fabric of gender equality and dignity. Okay,
Hmm.
so using this judgment, no, will add value to our answers. Okay, so
Right.
note this down. We'll move on. So after that, I think we're coming into, yeah, we're ending Jan here. Okay, so after this, SC stays Bombay High Court judgment, which held skin to skin contact necessary for sexual assault under POXO Act. Oh, I think even POXO Act also, no, it
That's
was, news many times. So I think PT also has covered POXO. Okay,
PT. Yes.
so we must also, if
Even in mock test.
hmm.
Yeah. So they say that skin to skin contact, okay, that is necessary because we might. Okay.
No. SC has stayed. Okay.
It has state disorder.
So Bombay High Court order was regressive, right? It is not necessary
Okay.
that
Even visual representation can also be
exactly, not necessarily
right.
skin to
Right.
skin. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Okay.
in a way,
Yes.
Bombay High Court judgment was very narrow. So SC has stayed
Hmm.
this under the POXO Act. Okay, and if you see here, they have used the Section 8. Okay, so just see this. A bench held by Bugde stayed the acquittal of the accused under judgment, which held that pressing of breast of a minor girl without disrobing does amount to sexual assault. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
broad observation.
Okay.
And Section 8. Okay, just try to revise this section. Okay,
Hmm.
I mean, we
Eight.
can quote in answers. The court has stayed the acquittal of accused under this and issued notice to him. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so POXO Act revision for this, and specifically Section 8. No,
Oh,
remember
oh,
the.
sorry.
Huh.
Yes.
So we'll move on. This is the last judgment of 2021 January. Okay, disqualification remains if you are simply nominated. I think this, very important and burning, because it falls under anti-defection law. Okay, what if you remember the Karnataka episode of that disqualification? See, what happened was they had resigned to their post. Okay, and then uh, uh, I mean, they had resigned from their post. Okay, voluntarily they had resigned, and then they wanted to contest election again. Okay, the episode which happened just one or 2 years
Yeah.
back. Okay, so this is a series of that judgment. So SC is telling that disqualification remains. Okay, he is still disqualified if you are simply nominated. So SC upholds the High Court order holding this. This is an MP. He was an MLA who was disqualified under anti-defection law. Okay, so I'll just read this so that some articles are here. You'll get some clarity. A bench headed by so and so dismissed a plea by this person. Okay, he was disqualified against. This is against the Karnataka High Court judgment, which held that he will continue to remain disqualified. See what was happening now. He was appealing against his disqualification verdict. It went to High Court. High Court also didn't no listen to him. He went to Supreme Court also. This is the context. So he will continue to remain disqualified under the anti-defection law. Okay, even during his term as a nominated member of KLC. See what happened now. Once he was disqualified, um, basically for the same thing. Okay, he wanted the ministerialship, and he was not able to get it because of disqualification. Then he was nominated to the Legislative Council, upper house of
Okay.
Karnataka. Okay, through that he tried to somehow get, but there also, if you see this judgment is upholding, disqualification remains even if you are simply nominated. Okay, he was nominated to the upper house of Legislative Council, even though this disqualification will remain. This is the judgment. Okay, this is an emerging dimension. Try to have that clarity here. Multiple things are running here. Okay, anti-defection law judgment, his disqualification, his resignation, and then he being nominated to the state legislative council because he's not able to contest in assembly, and
Assembly, right.
and he is a nominated member. If you see, nominated in the
Hmm.
legislative council and still is disqualified. Okay, so
Right.
uh,
Wider application of
huh,
disqualification,
yeah.
defection.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So the court was hearing his challenge to the November verdict of Karnataka High Court, which prima facie declared that MLC, okay, has incurred disqualification under this, okay, these two articles. He was disqualified under these two articles, 164(1) and 361(b) of the Constitution, till the expiry of the term of Legislative Council. Okay, so the High Court judgment had upset his chances of becoming a minister. Okay, so this is the thing. So these two articles, again becomes important. Let us, just quickly just see through 164. 164. Just seeing 164. Okay. See 164, specifically they're telling clause 1/b. Okay. So 164 is related to other provisions to ministers. So in 1b, the specific point here is a member of legislative assembly of the state or a house of the legislature of a state having legislative council, okay, specifically in those states which have legislative council like ours, belonging to any party, who is disqualified, okay, he is disqualified for being a member of that house, okay, under the 10th schedule, shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister, okay, for the you're there. Oh, you're online. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, fine. You're getting right what I'm trying to tell. So I'm reading 1B, okay, 161 B.
Uh,
I was just telling
okay.
that a member of
Please repeat. Repeat once again.
yes. So I'm just repeating 161 B. Okay, a member of the legislative council of a state, okay, or a legislature
Mhm.
having a legislative council, okay, upper house, okay, belonging to any political party who is disqualified. In this case, he's disqualified. Who is disqualified for being a member of that house, under 10th
Mhm.
schedule. So he's disqualified under 10th schedule. Okay, shall also be
Right.
disqualified to be appointed as a minister. Okay, so this is the line which is
Okay.
mentioned in 164 1B. Okay, so disqualified to be appointed as a minister for the duration of the period from commencing from the date of his disqualification till the date on which the term of his office as such member would expire. That is the house, like as house of the house period. Okay.
I think we have to look for the details that how the whole procedure is. No?
No, just once again revise
Because,
164 1B.
mm,
You'll get the point. Okay. Uh,
okay,
because I'm
164 1B.
because
Right.
I'm reading from the book. Okay, it's making me easy. Maybe you can later see through it. Okay. So 164B, and then I'm just looking at 361B. Okay. So 361B is see, 361B is also an important article. It is disqualification for appointment on remunerative political post. Okay, disqualification for appointment on remunerative political post. Okay, this is the article of 361B. Okay, I'll just post the picture also later. Okay, we'll just move on for now. So these two articles become important from thing and exam also. We can quote these articles. Okay, so I think it's the same line of thought. Okay, they've mentioned in short that MLC has incurred the disqualification under these two articles of the Constitution till the expiry of the term of the House. This is what we read right now. Okay, that term of the House. The High Court judgment has, yeah,
That's not right.
it has upset his chances of becoming a minister. So he cannot become a minister. This is what he was, fighting for all time. Okay, so now we have completed June 2021 to Jan 2021. Okay, so now we are moving on to 2020 judgments. Okay, so starting from December, left hand. Okay, so we'll start a doctrine of legitimate expectation. Oh, must doctrine of legitimate expectation. State must discard the colonial notion that it is a sovereign. It is a sovereign handing out doles at its will. Okay. Oh, legitimate expectation.
Heavy line.
Heavy line. This is a new
Legitimate
doctrine which we are.
expectation. What was the line?
State must
State
discard.
must discard the colonial notion
Hmm.
that it is a sovereign handling out doles at its will. Okay.
So we have this
What
colonial
is the
notion.
crux here?
We have in our mind, na, we have some colonial notion that na state is giving some doles, freebies. So we must discard that notion, is what it is trying to tell. Okay,
Okay.
and some doctrine also it is brought out. Okay, a new doctrine. We must look up this doctrine also. But to understand the context, we'll just read this. See, the state must discard the colonial notion that it is a sovereign handing out doles at its will. Okay, so we must discard this old notion from our mind. The bench comprising so and so observe that the doctrine of substantive legitimate expectation. Okay, such doctrines have the potential to come up directly in exam. Okay, doctrine of substantive legitimate expectation is one of the ways in which the guarantee of non-arbitrariness enshrined under Article 14 finds concrete expression. Oh,
I think it's not at the will of the state to give these freebies. They have the duty. Something like that. So let's
ha
proceed.
ha ha.
Maybe
See,
we'll be able to understand.
yeah, see here. The court was hearing an appeal against a Jharkhand High Court order, holding the state government to its promise to give the benefit of an exemption of 50% in electricity duty for a period of 5 years for self consumption or captive use to all new and existing industrial units setting up captive power plants in the state. Okay, the state was giving some free electricity exemption. Okay, while confirming the High Court's verdict, the top court said that the scope of doctrine of legitimate expectation is wider. Okay, it's telling that the scope of this doctrine is wider than a promissory estoppel. Oh my god, because it not only takes into consideration a promise made by a public body, but also official practice. Okay, I think we must understand this doctrine in a much better way. Okay, so just note down this doctrine. Okay, we'll move on.
Doctrine of
Legitimate
legitimate
expectation,
expectation. Huh.
and
Move on. Huh.
this is
We'll find
yeah, doctrine of
about it.
substantive legitimate expectation. Okay, this is the thing, and Article 14 is involved in this. Okay, so we'll move on. Yeah, this is an important judgment. Next one, because of police reforms. So ensure CCTVs are installed in each and every police station. SC direct states. Okay, this is very important and the latest of the series of police reform issue. Okay, in that stream. So ensure CCTVs are installed in all the police stations. Direction given by Supreme Court. So SC observed that states and union territory government should ensure CCTV cameras are installed in each and every police station functioning under them. A bench of so and so observed that these directives shall be implemented in letter and spirit, okay, as soon as possible. They're not given in timeline, but it's a good step forward to curb all those custodial deaths, torture which happens in the police stations. Okay, so in that context, we must quote such judgments. The court also directed central government to install CCTV cameras and recording equipment in the offices of CBI. If you see, even in these offices also, not only police station, in CBI and NIA. Okay, so this is the thing. And if you want the name of the judgment, it's Paramveer Singh Saini versus Baljit Singh. Okay, maybe we can just quote in the Paramveer Singh Saini judgment. We can quote this. Okay, the court issued directives and the court issued directives while disposing SLP filed by one Paramveer Singh Saini, which raised issues regarding audio-video recordings of statements and installation of CCTV cameras in police stations generally. Okay, so this is we can write straight this judgment. Okay, so we'll move on. SE upholds GST on lottery, betting, and gambling. Okay, just know that GST applies to this also. Okay, because it can come up in prelims as 1, 2, 3, 4 something. Okay, um, SE upholds levy of GST on lottery, betting, and gambling. Okay, can come up straight in prelims. Um, Maybe later we can revise on which items GST applies and not applies overall. Okay. If you know the
There
except,
was even a previous year question.
yeah, yeah,
There
right.
was even a previous year question on the items on which GST applicable.
Yes, they
Right.
had given some baked egg, fish, and all, right. So, uh, so remember
Right.
this: lottery, betting, and gambling. Okay, it applies. It cannot be said that there was no rationale for including these three. So there will be some rationale at least to include them. So we'll move on. And there's some article coming up here. Just note down the definition of goods under 366. Okay, so this is general article which has all the definitions. Okay, 366. If you remember. So we'll move on. Yeah. So next is vote cast by lawmakers prior to his conviction on the same day cannot be termed invalid. Okay. I think this is also related to the anti-defection wala series. If you see vote cast by lawmaker prior to his conviction on the same day, so on the same day he is getting convicted, but he has already cast his vote. So it means on the
Oh,
a very no minute thing. In that case also his vote is valid because he has done it before, right? So SC held that a vote cast by lawmaker prior to his conviction in a criminal case on the same day cannot be termed as invalid. Okay, it's a minor thing, maybe a timeline wala thing. So just read this. Before he was convicted, would grossly violate his substantive right to be treated as innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, because at that time of casting vote, he was innocent. So that's the thing. Nothing
even
much.
if, okay, even if the same day,
Huh.
but he will, it will be valid. Okay,
Right,
let's.
right. Nothing much here. We can move on. If you see, court cannot alter. This is important. This can also come up in prelims. Um, See, court cannot alter presidential order on ST. Okay, scheduled tribes. SC reverses Bombay High Court judgment declaring Govari as ST. So first thing what we must know is, from the exam perspective, the court cannot alter the presidential order. This is the first thing because president has this power in him to declare the STs. Okay.
At 342A, we read
Yes.
President.
Yeah.
Right.
So that power, Bombay High Court had reversed it. Okay. Uh, because president had declared Govari as ST, Bombay High Court judgment, yeah, had given Govari as ST. I think president had not given. So we'll read this once. SC held that High Court cannot look into evidences to look out and decide that a particular tribe is a part of ST, which is included in the constitution. So court cannot look into this. Okay, it basically say no court cannot touch up this presidential order on ST. So this ST order 1950 under which president will keep on placing the newer STs. Okay, so the caste Govari. So this also becomes important from prelims per se. From which state we must know this. The caste Govari and Gond Govari are two distinct and separate castes. Okay, Govari and Gond Govari it's telling as a distinct caste. The bench comprising so and so observed that about while it set aside Bombay High Court that held the Govari community cannot be denied benefits as a SC status. So this was Bombay High Court's observation. But in reality, Govari and Gond Govari are different. So Bombay High Court cannot tell this because it is not part of a president's order. Okay. So this we must broadly be aware. Maybe president's power becomes important. I think from the exam of he declaring the ST. Okay, that thing, that dimension. I think Vision has covered this also in PT. Okay, let us see. High Court had previously held that Gond Govari was completely extinct. Yeah, Gond Govari, no, it has become extinct before 1911, and no trace of it was found either in Maratha or Berar or in MP. Yeah, and they did not exist tribe as Gond Govari. So yeah, so that's the thing they are mentioning. So just remember Gond Govari, Govari, Maharashtra. This is one thing. This presidential order, president's power, court cannot alter this power. This is about this. We move on. This again I think is important. Election process cannot be inferred with, sorry, interfered with. Okay, SC dismisses plea against consecutive reservation of panchayat president posts in Kerala. I think if you remember, na, the local election thing is coming up, multiple times, and elections process cannot be interfered with. This is actually the basic power. Courts cannot interfere in the election process proceedings. This we know as a static thing.
Okay.
So it is reiterating the same thing in the context of the local elections also. So vacation bench of SC dismissed the plea which challenged the reservation of notification issued by State Election Commission. Again, this body is coming up again for local body head on the ground that it lead to successive consecutive reservation of the posts of panchayat president and municipality persons. Okay, so election process can't be interfered with in the middle. Yeah, if election process is happening, it cannot interfere. That is election commission's um main power. That court cannot interfere. I think there is an article also to this. I'm not able to recall. Okay, so later if you can recall, uh,
Okay.
courts cannot
State
interfere.
election come.
No, in general, in the process of election, the courts cannot interfere. Some broad static connection is there to this. Okay. We'll move on. Uh, why can't road take a turn around a tree? Oh, okay. So I mean, normally we cut off the trees, now. So I think they're asking why can't road take a turn around a tree?
Turn around. Okay.
Yeah,
Environment.
environment.
Hmm.
Okay, so we can just maybe while writing passing references in essay or even ethics, we can quote some observations like.
It's a good line. Hmm.
So why can't the road take a turn around a tree? That will only mean that speed will be slow. If speed is slow, it will lower the accident. It will be safe. So I think, see how it's telling. Okay. So this is about the quotes judge's observation. Okay. You can't fell thousands of trees in the name of Krishna. Okay. I mean, they're making some temple, I believe. Okay. So we'll move on. So the yeah, if you see now, it was hearing an application filed by UP government for cutting trees of Krishna for Krishna Govardhan Road project in Mathura. Okay, nothing specific. We'll move on. Next is SC refuses to quash FIRs um, against journalist Amish Devgan for his remarks against Sufi saint Moinuddin Chishti. Array, this is very famous personality in medieval history. I think we must revise the Sufi saint. Okay, Sufi saint
Hmm.
Moinuddin Chishti. Okay, his whatever contribution, what who was his contemporary king, all those things we must revise. Okay, post this. So SC refuses to quash FIRs against this journalist for his remarks. So he has made some remark on this. So let's quash it. That's it. So SC refuses to quash FIR against this for remarks against Sufi Saint Moinuddin Chisti. A bench of justice so and so clubbed the FIR and transferred him. So yeah, on July 8, stay on investigation and coercive action against journalists will continue. Okay, fine. So I don't think anything is important because they're trying to uphold the freedom of speech and expression of the journalist. But from our static revision, we can revise the Sufi
Hmm.
Moinuddin Chisti specifically. He is important.
He, he speaks in favor of BJP, no? Maybe that's why. But we have to only focus on Moinuddin Chishti.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move on. Mm, executive, huh. So if you see here, executive acting in breach of judgment would be invitation to anarchy. Oh, so this, it is purely hitting towards the separation of power topic of our mains. See, executive is acting in breach of judgments would be invitation to anarchy. So executive is breaching the judgments. So this would be invitation to anarchy. It is trying to tell. Okay, SC pulls up center for not making appointments in CERC. CERC is Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. Okay, so this also one more body which we must revise. So I'll just read this. We have shown considerable restraint in this matter. Our restraint seems to be misunderstood. Remarked the this bench justice. Okay, so and so while it pulled up the central government for not appointing law member in CERC. So we must look up the CERC, best static about it. Okay, this body when it comes out composition, all those things. Expressing its anguish, the court observed that government does not seem to be interested in coming to aid of consumers or making commission functional, which is not an unusual scenario seeing the functioning of other tribunals and commissions on account of lack of appointments to deal with the matter. Yeah. So tribunals, in general, are starving because of vacancies. We see NGT, the famous tribunal, also suffers with the vacancy issue. So, so from exam perspective, uh, tribunal broadly, CERC specifically, and executive, and this,
Separation of our Article 50.
ha.
थोड़ा सा हाँ.
Okay, so we'll move on. How much is there? Yeah, we'll finish it off. Okay, we'll finish. I think just two are left. We'll finish and close December. So SC agrees to examine whether. Okay, it's just agreed. I mean, I don't think this is important, but just see, SC agrees to examine whether probing constitutionality of declaration of 1975 emergency is feasible after. So it is agreed. Okay, it is agreed. Okay,
Maybe yes. Uh,
so nothing much. Okay, just revise emergency static post independence. You just revise emergency completely thoroughly.
हाँ 42nd 44 ठीक है
Ha,
42nd हाँ
ha.
ठीक.
Okay, that's about it. We'll move on. The next is: do you want to abolish personal laws? How can we encroach on it? SC issues notice with caution on PILs for uniform law for divorce, maintenance, and alimony. So okay, so I mean, again,
Article 44.
yeah, Uniform Civil Code, and even the this article, okay, equality related, 14, 15, and 44. Okay, these three. Just try to revise thoroughly again. So a three judge bench of SC so and so issued notice on two PILs seeking uniformity in personal law. So PILs, no, they're again trying to enforce the uniformity principle, but uniformity is different from unity in Indian context. Okay, broadly, seeking uniformity in personal laws, regulating divorce, these matters, personal matters. Senior advocate Pinky Anand, appearing in so and so, prayed that these personal laws and religious practices are discriminatory. Okay, I mean, is what he's trying to tell. And if you see, the reforms are progressive in this. Slowly, they're reforming, like triple talaq or whatever recently is on. So, personal laws and religious practices are discriminatory in nature, like Sabrimala, under these three articles, 14, 15, 44 of the Constitution, as well as other rights conferred under international instruments. Okay, nothing in specific. Just try to look up revise the Uniform Civil Code issue once again. Okay, so last one for today. We find it disturbing. I think this is very important. This had come up into editorial had come up on this. Okay, directly editorial had come up on this. I think. I mean, main editorial. We find it disturbing. SC stays Andhra Pradesh High Court attempt to examine constitutional breakdown in AP. So if you see what had happened now, SC stayed the order of this Andhra Pradesh High Court whether it had decided to, whereby it had decided to examine if there is a constitutional breakdown in the state of AP. So this it cannot do. I mean, Andhra Pradesh High Court, I mean High Court as a power cannot examine this. Okay, this is the key point here. It
President rule. No?
it doesn't have jurisdiction to examine the constitutional breakdown in the state. So we find it disturbing. Commented Bobde about this. The bench issued notice on the petition. The matter will be listed after Christmas. So I mean, SC has taken this issue. Okay, the development comes after High Court division by Justice Rakesh Kumar rejected an appeal filed by state government. Yeah, see, state no went to Supreme Court that High Court cannot do this. Okay, so from the exam perspective, High Court jurisdiction, whether it can examine this, because if you see now on this line, questions have come up. Like I can recall last week, I mean last session also we discussed that High Court can examine the constitutional validity of central law. Something had come up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we must revise the jurisdiction of High Court because this is a clear case of High Court exceeding its jurisdiction. Okay, and this is specific to the constitutional breakdown in the state of AP. Okay.
Okay.
So I think we'll stop here. So we have completed December 2020. Okay.
Right.
So whatever we discussed static, let us try to, if possible, we can post in the group itself. Okay, the static snippets or whatever, so that we can revise, there itself.
Right.
If I find any PT related to this, I'll post in the group. Okay. So we can.
Sure. I'll also look for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Fine.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.